Got anything on you?
Stay with him. I'm at my house.
Okay, I don't know. I'm asking you. What's your name?
Gervonta.
What?
Gervonta.
Gervonta is your first name?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your last name?
Davis.
Be the best, and that's what he did tonight. Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
The wildest, most brutal, and bloodiest moments of Gervonta Davis caught on camera. The early career of most famous boxers usually unfolds in a boring manner. They build up a record against amateurs and novices, win uneventful fights, and gradually move towards title matches. However, the hero of our video can boast the most dazzling, most brutal start to a professional boxing career in our time. Gervonta Davis versus Cristobal Cruz. At the end of 2015, Cristobal Cruz became the first notable opponent in Davis's rapidly growing list. The rugged Mexican had previously held a world champion title and defeated several serious opponents, but by this time, his losses had started to accumulate, and Davis used the veteran merely as a stepping stone. Cruz tried to counter his opponent with his right hand, but Gervonta's quick uppercuts ended the fight in the third round despite Cruz's protests. Gervonta Davis versus Luis Sanchez. The next step for Gervonta was the Mexican Luis Sanchez, who had previously faced interesting opponents. But Davis proved himself just as formidable, showcasing a chilling one-punch knockout power. The cautious Sanchez managed to hold out until the ninth round, when Davis's power was fully unleashed. Ducking to avoid a left hand, Davis delivered a precise punch that broke Sanchez's nose. Gervonta Davis versus Liam Walsh. Arriving in England with the familiar fanfare and honors that always accompany Floyd Mayweather, Gervonta was not in the mood to waste any time. His undefeated opponent, Walsh, was quite good, as he demonstrated in the ring. But once Davis found his range, the rest of the fight became a formality. Walsh tried to dodge the danger, but Davis's lethal punches kept finding their mark. The fight ended in the third round. Gervonta Davis versus Jesus Cuellar. Before facing Davis, Argentinian Jesus Cuellar had lost his WBA world title by split decision to Abner Mares. However, his extended absence from the ring didn't help him prepare for a fight against someone with Davis's intimidating reputation. Finding himself on the canvas in the first round was far from an ideal start for Cuellar. Once Davis smelled blood and realized that this guy was vulnerable, it was as good as over. Gervonta put his opponent down twice in the third round, and the referee decided to stop the fight. Gervonta Davis versus Hugo Ruiz. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is the living embodiment of knockouts in boxing. He is the reigning champion, boasting one of the highest knockout percentages in boxing history at 95%. Tank first revealed himself to the mass audience as a spectacular knockout artist in his bout with Ruiz. Gervonta didn't prolong the fight. In the first round, he overwhelmed his opponent. The champion established his distance with his powerful left hand, checking the range to the target several times with straight punches. Towards the end of the first 3 minutes, Hugo found himself in the corner. Davis delivered a classic 1-2 combo and finished it off with a powerful right hook around his opponent's left glove. This punch broke Ruiz's nose. From the pain, shock, and the abundance of blood, the contender dropped to one knee. He got up but was not ready to continue. The referee stopped the fight.
In this fight, and when I asked him, "Can you continue?" in Spanish, "Quieres seguir? Do you wish to continue?" he kind of just looked down and wouldn't answer. And he was really hurt. That nose was broken earlier and then got hit on it again.
Or full speed ahead.
They're saying that like an hour or two they're gonna have names.
It's all good. Business as usual.
Now fasten your seatbelts, because we are approaching one of Tank's most brutal knockouts. The fight against Leo Santa Cruz is remembered by the audience for Tank coming closer to nearly killing his opponent than ever before. The 25-year-old Davis, with his pronounced style as a puncher and a knockout artist, has been called a miniature version of Mike Tyson by some. Davis remains undefeated in the pro ring, with only one of his 24 opponents making it to the final bell, while he knocked out the rest. On the other hand, the 32-year-old Santa Cruz is a very resilient, high-paced, multi-punch boxer who has already had dynamic, thrilling fights. This fight was no exception. Knowing his opponent's knockout power, which is outstanding for the weight class, Leo did not take a back seat, avoiding the fight and trying to score points. Instead, he constantly countered and engaged in exchanges, which ultimately cost him. This was one of the most spectacular boxing matches of the year. At times, Gervonta, clearly smaller in size compared to the Mexican, looked concerned and even confused, perhaps not expecting such a serious response from Santa Cruz. But setbacks did not make Davis deviate from his fight plan. He persistently sought the right moment to unleash his impressive punching power on his opponent, and at the end of the 6th round, Tank began to push his adversary to the ropes in the corner of the ring. Santa Cruz successfully countered with series of punches. However, in that fateful moment, he made a mistake by throwing 3 consecutive straight right punches. Standing in the danger zone, Gervonta took the first 2 punches, and when Leo threw the third one, already having calculated it, he instantly landed a truly savage counter left uppercut, hitting the Mexican's exposed jaw. Lights out, guys. The Predator shot down his prey.
Out, but once when I was on the rope and I was saying that, I turned back around, see he was on the ground. That's when I went to a different mode. Like, damn, like, is he okay? Type stuff. So I'm glad he okay.
Immediately after the knockout, Leo Santa Cruz was taken to the hospital. Fans were seriously concerned about his physical condition, but the next day, Leo took to social media with a message.
Hey, we're here with the 4th division champ. Looks like he's doing great and high spirits. How you doing, Leo? Everything all right?
Yeah, I feel great. Yesterday I went to the hospital. They checked me with the scan, x-rays, and everything came out great. And with his knockout, he got me really good. We're good, thank God. God bless me to be here with my kid. That's all we got.
It was a terrifying night for Leo. Considering the aftermath of that knockout, Leo could no longer become a champion or return to his previous level. Tank literally breaks the careers of boxers. Facing him instills genuine fear in the hearts of his opponents. But there was one who did not take Tank seriously and tried to play the role of the hunter of the King of the Beasts.
Tank's gonna get knocked down 1 round, just like that. Nothing else need to be said. What about all the little low blows that you threw at Lil Santa Cruz, or when you hit Francisco Fonseca in the back of the head where they should have DQ'd your ass? Shut the fuck up.
Is this fight personal?
If it was personal, they would have been packing them up, to be honest. Yeah, okay.
Interest in the fight was sparked not only by the conflict, but also by the characteristics of the boxers themselves. Both fighters had perfect records. Gervonta had won all 26 of his bouts, 24 of which ended in knockouts. Rolando had 14 wins in 14 fights, with 12 of them being knockouts. Therefore, it was logical to assume that their fight would not last long. This was further anticipated by their mutual animosity, which Davis escalated during the face-off, pushing Romero off the stage. This almost led to a brawl, which was quickly quelled. The fight predominantly followed a single pattern. Rolando took the lead, driving Davis along the ropes, but rarely reaped the rewards of such work as he seldom landed his punches. Although Gervonta initially felt uncomfortable boxing in a counter-punching manner, he occasionally took the initiative. By the way, Tank worked more effectively as the aggressor than Rolando. The only round the challenger can claim as his own is the second. During that round, he managed to shake the champion with a 1-2 combo, causing Davis to seek refuge in a clinch. However, he ended up on the canvas, but the referee did not count it as a knockdown. Eventually, Gervonta adapted to Romero's fighting style. Starting from the 5th round, Davis took control of the fight's rhythm, throwing rare but very accurate and heavy counter-punches. Meanwhile, Rolando struggled to land clean shots on the champion, despite constantly pressing him against the ropes. The challenger didn't fully unleash his punching potential, which made him a dangerous puncher. The climax came in the 6th round. The champion had taken control of the fight, and it seemed he would secure an unequivocal victory by decision. But during an exchange, Rolando missed a left hook and went straight down into the ropes. He managed to get up by the count of 8. It was clear that Romero had not fully recovered as he followed the referee's commands with a delay and swayed slightly. Because of this, the referee stopped the fight.
Even when we weighed in, I knew that I could outthink him easily. You know what I mean? So I knew that I was gonna, outbox him, but I thought I was gonna not knock him out, but wound up stopping him in the late rounds. But he ran into the shot. He ran into the shot.
Like I said, I had him running like a bitch the entire fight. And like I said, he got a nice shot in. That's all that happened.
This kind of victory was exactly what Tank needed to become the most sought-after free agent on the market. It was his last fight under contract with Floyd Mayweather's promotional company. Davis retained his title as a world champion and of the most dangerous punchers of our time. This was his 25th knockout and 27th win of his career. Very impressive numbers. However, it was the fight with Ryan Garcia that helped Tank to become one of the most brutal and fierce boxers in the world, elevating him to a new height in every aspect.
Once I touch that jaw, you're going to sleep. I'll probably break your jaw.
Say what?
I'm going to break your jaw. I promise you. Don't even bring your mother or your daughter. Don't bring them.
Oh, you're going to see them.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
I mean, they're talking about, I want to punish him. This man's never punished anybody in his life, man. This man's always losing. You don't punish nobody. So get that out of your delusional mind, bro. You're not going to punish me in no way, no chance.
Garcia's new coach is an attack specialist. He knows how to throw opponents off balance, hide punches or combinations, put the opponent in an uncomfortable position, and finish them off. He made a tactical fight, and Davis didn't respect his opponent's punch. Judging by the instructions in the corner, Garcia was supposed to surprise, as usually do when they take a hit. They typically tighten up, try to regroup. Full puncher of our time, but totally dismantling Ryan. The spasm from a liver shot has a paralyzing effect, and Ryan couldn't get up. Bravo, Gervonta. You have proven that you are the king of beasts.
I was like a step, a little, like a level above him, you know what I mean? So everything he was doing in the ring, I was already aware of, you know what I mean? Everything, like, I was already aware of, like, a couple steps before he did it, so.
But what's next for you, Tank? Last year, Tank spent some time under house arrest and then went to jail for breaking the rules. He said he learned his lessons but lost his footing and momentum. However, what Davis didn't lose was his popularity, hype, and intrigue surrounding him. Fans gave Tank a thunderous ovation as he entered the ring in Las Vegas for a lightweight bout against Frank Martin. The Ghost was sharp at the beginning of the fight and stayed out of range of the WBA world champion, repeatedly escaping his opponent's traps. Martin's jab was typically crisp, and he landed a couple of punches that confused Gervonta. With his hands up, Davis started tracking Martin and began setting up his signature left hook more frequently. In the second round, Gervonta actively targeted the contender's body and caught the low-ducking opponent with an uppercut. However, the Ghost's early advantage quickly diminished, and Davis began closing the distance between them. The clearly worried Detroit boxer and his supporters. In the fifth round, Davis landed a devastating left uppercut, followed by a right hook. The punches were technically impressive and quite effective. Over time, Davis achieved more and more success. Gervonta looked better and better with each passing segment, while his opponent started to fade. After Martin was cornered in the sixth round, Davis landed several left-hand punches, causing the Ghost to start running around the ring to slow down the fight's pace. The champion landed a few more solid left punches and added some body uppercuts. Tank got so caught up in the moment that he started playing to the crowd. Meanwhile, Frank couldn't do anything but retreat. Martin tried not to fall for the champion's provocations, but all his attempts to turn the fight around were futile. The champion was pounding the contender against the ropes, and the crowd in the arena grew louder and louder. Sensing the approaching climax, it was a heated round for Martin. His chances of survival were rapidly diminishing, and his chances of winning were reduced to zero. In the eighth round, the crowd erupted even more as Davis, without much effort, pounded the Ghost with both hands, cornering Martin once again. Gervonta threw such a powerful left hand that it ended the fight against Frank. Martin ultimately fell on his back, staring at the lights of the MGM arena, and the referee stopped the fight. Davis retained his WBA World Lightweight title and secured his victory after a 14-month layoff, once again proving who in the ring is the true king, full of aggression, brutality, and incredible power.